Hello and welcome to our crossover health strength level 3 workout. Just a reminder, make sure you do as much as you can. Our workouts are more of a general requirement or recommendation. We always recommend that if you are uncomfortable doing any of the exercises or you'd like to replace them, to please do so. Make this class your own, modify as you need, and rest whenever you need to. You can always pause and come back to this. For exercises that are timed, we do provide you a timer in the top left-hand corner. I'll always give you a little bit of a countdown, a 3, 2, 1 start, and then as it starts to wind down, a 3, 2, 1 and rest. If we're doing the workout for repetitions instead of for time, that number in the top left-hand corner will represent how many repetitions you are meant to do. For this workout, you do not need any equipment. As long as you have enough space to do a jumping jack or a plank, you should be good. And have a setup for both standing and ground work because we will do both during this workout. We'll start with our warm-up. I'll play these videos, you just follow along, and always pause and come back if you need to. If I'm talking too slowly, you can speed it up a little bit. If I'm talking too quickly, you can pause, complete what you need to do, and then continue. Our first exercise is the sideline thoracic sweeps, 30 seconds on each side. If you've completed levels 1 and 2, this warm-up will be familiar. We're laying on one side. Your top knee is either going to be on a foam roller or your knees will be together, bent at about 90 degrees. You're going to open your hands as wide as you can, starting on the first side in 3, 2, 1, go. As you do this, you're pretending that there's a paintbrush in your top hand and you're trying to paint the world's biggest rainbow. As you do this, your knees are pressing into the ground or into the foam roller, and you're doing your very best to try to get your hand that's moving down to the ground. Prioritize knees before you do shoulders to the ground though. You should feel a stretch through the chest and upper back, maybe mid-lower back and hip. 3, 2, 1, and switch sides. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Big open, big close, and your eyes should always follow the hand that's moving. This way you get some neck rotation, and we're getting movement through the whole spine. Still feeling the stretch through the shoulders, chest, and upper back, maybe some middle and lower, and hip. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We'll go to our cat-cow next for 30 seconds, hands and knees or quadruped position, arching and rounding, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. As you do this, you're trying to move everything all the way from the sacrum, the base of the spine, up through the neck. And you're trying to move each piece of the spine one section at a time, nice and slow, getting maximum range of motion, maximum mobility through these joints, and just focusing on that stretch. Hands are under shoulders, knees are under hips, and I like toes into the ground for balance, but if you feel a quad stretch, you can always go laces. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We'll continue onto our quadruped T-spine rotation for 30 seconds on each side. For this exercise, based on the name, you know we're still in quadruped, so hands and knees. Your elbow's going to reach across towards your wrist, and then open your chest up to the ceiling. Starting on the first side in 3, 2, 1, go. As you do this, eyes follow the elbow, turn and rotate through the chest. Your hips and your knees should be still as you do this. Eyes follow the elbow that moves, open the chest, and come back down. We're about halfway here. Big movements, focus, slow, controlled, keeping a shoulder stack, so wrist directly underneath that standing arm. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Switch sides, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So whatever arm is your standing arm, that hand stays underneath the shoulder, and that arm should also stay straight. I also like toes to the ground anytime we're in quadruped, just for balance, but if you feel a big stretch or pull through your quad or your knee, you can release the toe, go laces to the ground, and that should help. 3, 2, 1, and rest. We'll go next to our skips. So this is standing, opposite hand and knee, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Remember, you do not have to jump here. You can just march in place. But the hop is a nice way to keep the joints and muscles loose and work on that opposite pattern. We're just looking to increase the heart rate here, get the blood flowing, muscles moving. Keep it up, opposite hand and knee. If you're skipping or hopping, the heels never touch the ground. You're staying light on the balls of your feet. 3, 2, 1, and rest. And now we'll review our circuit. So because this is our strength workout, sometimes we do it for repetitions, sometimes we do it for time. And you can see we give you a rep range, so somewhere between 4 to 8 rounds. That means at the minimum, we recommend that you get at least 4 rounds, at the maximum 8. I will be taking you through 3 rounds. It is up to you to determine how many additional rounds you would like to do. Our reverse lunge to knee drive is a lower body strength. We're also starting to work on our accessory stability muscles, so anything that supports our major muscle groups. Then we have our tap tap push-up, which is a core and upper body exercise. Our skater squats, which is another lower body / accessory stability muscle exercises. Our single leg hip lift, which is on the ground for lower body hamstring and glute strength. And our hollow body hold, which is an ab exercise. Let's begin. Remember, you can always pause if you need to or speed up if you need to. The first round will be a little bit slower than the second 2. Round 1, we'll start with our reverse lunge to knee drive for 10 on each side. You'll start facing forward. Take a step back, knees at about 90 degrees, and then you'll drive that knee up. Starting on your first side, make sure you begin, go at your own pace. When you step back, just like our split squats from level 2, your knee should be at about 90 degrees. And when you drive up, you want your standing leg to be as straight as possible, really focusing on getting long and tall to the ceiling. Make sure you switch sides if you haven't already. Your front foot should be flat the whole time, tippy toe on the back foot, and your weight stays over your front leg. So the front leg's doing the work. It controls the movement down, and it drives the other knee up. We'll keep going. Remember to pause if you need to. Our next exercise is our tap tap push-up for 10. In this exercise, you're in a straight arm plank position with the hands under the shoulders. You'll tap your hand to the opposite shoulder, lower down into a push-up, and press back up. That's 1 rep. Make sure you begin whenever you're ready. As you do the taps, you want to keep the back as flat as possible, like you're trying to balance a cup of water on your back. Then as you move down through the push-up, as you get closer to the ground, you're keeping a hip tuck, keeping your belly button to your spine. And as you push away from the ground, you're keeping that same tuck and position. Hands should be wherever's comfortable, either below the shoulders or out to the sides a little bit. And your elbows during the push-up should be about 45 degrees away from the body. We'll keep going into our skater squats for 10 on each side. As you do the skater squats, it's a balance exercise first and foremost. So we want to make sure that you're protecting yourself. If you struggle with balance, have something nearby to help you balance or hold on to if you need to. There's a little trick here. So when you go back, you're standing on one foot, the hips are going to shift behind you, and you're going to sit down into that leg. The trick for balance is you can let your back leg cross behind you slightly. And this way you get a little bit of rotation as well. Make sure you've already started if you haven't. You're keeping your standing leg flat through the foot like a flipper. You're spreading the toes to help you balance and using your hands to reach out in front of you for a counterbalance. This is going to let you sit your hips back a little bit further. If you haven't already switched sides, make sure you do so. And as always, make sure you have something to hold on to in case you need additional support or balance. And we'll keep going. We have our single leg hip lift next. We're doing 30 seconds on each side because we're holding in that position. So we'll start on the ground for this. You'll be flat on your back. One heel down, one knee to chest, arms rest, lift up and hold. As you do this, you're pushing constantly through your heel, and we'll start the timer in 3, 2, 1, go. We're doing just one side at a time. Holding those hips up, pressing your heel through the ground, and you want to feel the muscles through the back of the leg, hamstrings and glutes. Keep the hips as high as you can. Everything from the waist up should be pretty relaxed except for the abs, which are pulling your belly button to your spine. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Switch sides, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Again, push through the heel, lift the hips up. If you're feeling anything through your lower back, before you lift your hips, you should pull your lower back to the floor, press it into the floor firmly, and then push through the heel to lift the hips up. Again, we want to feel muscles through the back of the legs, in the hamstrings, in the glutes, and you're keeping your hips up as high as possible. We're almost there. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Our next exercise is our hollow body hold, and we'll be holding for 30 seconds. You start flat on your back, hands overhead, legs will reach up and lower down. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. As you do this, you are firmly pressing your lower back into the ground. That is going to be most important here because this is an ab exercise, not a lower back exercise. If you feel yourself fighting to keep your lower back on the ground, raise your legs higher. Don't go down as low. It means it's too challenging. You should be able to keep your back totally flat to the ground as you do this and feel the abs working. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we're going to get started with round 2. Starting with our reverse lunge to knee drive for 10 on each side. Step back, drive up for 10 on each. Remember, tippy toe on the back foot. Both knees should be at about 90 degrees at the bottom. And you want to drive your knee up, keeping the standing leg straight, pushing through the heel of the standing foot. Don't forget that opposite arm pump. If you haven't switched sides already, make sure you do. And it is a little bit of balance, so that drive up is what allows you to get the additional accessory muscles to focus on stability through the hips as you have to balance. We'll keep going. Our next exercise is the tap, tap, push up for 10. We're going to go tap, tap, down, and up. Remember, keep a hip tuck as you do this, belly button to spine, and the chest and hips move to the ground and away from the ground in perfect synchronization. For 10 here, remember 1 rep is tap, tap, push up. Elbows 45 degrees away from the body on the way down, and you want to get to at least a 90-degree bend on the way down to the ground. We'll keep going to our skater squats. Next, we're going to do 10 on each side, balancing on that standing leg, reaching the hips back, reaching the hands forward. You can think about spreading your toes on your standing leg like a flipper, reaching the hips back. And again, my little trick is if you reach your foot behind you a little bit, it gives you a little bit easier time to balance. You want to keep your chest tall, spine should stay straight. And if you haven't switched sides already, make sure you do. Really focus on that balance and always have something to hold on to for support if you need to. We'll keep going. We'll do single leg hip lift for 30 seconds on each side, laying flat on the back, push through the heel, and lift both hips to the ceiling. Starting on the first side here in 3, 2, 1, go. Remember, push through the heel, arms just relax to the side, shoulders just relaxed, neck should be relaxed. However, the abs are tight because you're thinking about pressing your back to the floor before you lift up. I like to imagine that there is a grape underneath my back and I'm trying to squish that grape before I actually lift my hips up. 3, 2, 1, and rest. And switch sides. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Press through the heel, feeling the hamstrings, feeling the glutes, all the right muscles, maybe some abs. Preferably nothing in the lower back, preferably nothing in the neck. And you want to keep your opposite knee as close to your chest as possible. 3, 2, 1, and rest. And we'll do hollow body holds for 30 seconds, flat on the back. Reach both hands up to the ceiling and then overhead. Legs will reach up and then lower down. Remember, most important thing is the flat back, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So same thing, pretend that there's an imaginary grape underneath your back. You're trying to squish the grape and then keep your back squishing the grape the whole time. There should be no space between your lower back and the floor. If you feel like you're fighting or it becomes really challenging, just raise your legs a little bit higher. They do not have to be so low. Press as much as you can. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, we will start round 3 right away. Starting with our reverse lunge to knee drive for 10 on each side. Step back, drive up, 10 on each. As you do this, remember you want to stay tall through the spine, nice and long, no rounding, no arching. Tippy toe on the back foot, 90 degrees on both knees. If you haven't switched sides already, don't forget. Push long through your standing leg. Keep the weight through the heel of your foot. And we'll keep going. To our tap tap push up for 10. Remember, keep the back flat like you're trying to balance a cup of water on your back as you do your taps. The trick here is the wider the feet, the bigger the base, the easier to balance so that you don't rotate. If you have to shift your weight a lot from side to side and your chest starts to rotate during the taps, make sure you try widening the feet and do your very best to stay flat. Keep the tuck in your push-up. And eyes should stay forward. Don't look back at your feet here. Okay, continuing with our skater squat, 10 on each side. Reach back, come back up, 10 on each. Standing leg, slight bend, flat foot, reach the hands forward, reach the hips back, focusing on that balance. Remember, crossing behind is just a little hack. You can also reach straight back if that's still comfortable. Just really focus on spreading the toes out like a flipper to give you a stable base. If you haven't switched sides already, make sure you do. And as always, again, make sure you can have something nearby to hold on to in case you start to lose your balance or your footing. And focus on feeling all the muscles in the leg, through the hips, through the back of the leg, the front of the leg. We'll keep going. Down on the ground for single leg hip lift, 30 seconds on each side. Starting here in 3, 2, 1, go. Press through the heel, lift the hips up, keep the arms relaxed. Belly button is to spine, just like you're squishing that grape, but it's like that the whole time. Feeling hamstrings, feeling glutes. Almost there. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Switch sides. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Lift the hips high. Keep the arms rested. Press up. And you're holding on one side, keeping the hips as high as you can, maintaining constant pressure through your heel. You're trying to push the floor away from you, get as far away from the ground without losing that hip tuck ab tension. There should be no arch. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Last one that I'll take you through, the hollow body hold for 30 seconds, arms overhead, lower the legs, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Remember, keep the back super flat here, legs start to lower, hands overhead. Squish that imaginary grape underneath your back so the back is suctioned to the ground and there's no space, so you're just feeling abs, nothing in the lower back. If you are, raise the legs higher or try bending your knees slightly. Also make sure the toes are pulled back so the feet are flexed. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, if you enjoyed today's workout and you're looking for more free options for training, here's a list of our current free classes offering. These can change pretty frequently though because we're constantly adding new classes, especially if you would like one specifically, let us know. You can check out our current and most updated schedule at crossoverhealth.com/classes. It will offer all of our yoga, HIIT, bodyweight training, resistance training, Qigong, and posture fundamental classes. So keep an eye out on that webpage for more offerings at different times and for different activities. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to any of your Crossover Health providers. Make sure you get lots of movement, water, good food, good sleep. If you're working in a specific program, remember to track your minutes that you do today. And if you have any questions, or are you interested in training in personal training, one-on-one style, you can email fitness@crossoverhealth.com or any of our fitness coaches directly. We hope you enjoyed today's strength class and look forward to seeing you in person for our other classes. Thanks for watching.